All right. While we wait for everybody, I kind of want to go and talk about what's actually happening in our world. Regarding the financial system and geopolitical stuff. While I wait for the people, and I'm going to relate this back to Evernote, obviously, because everything that's happening in the world always relates to us in some way. So I don't know if you guys are aware about the petrodollar, that the agreement they had with Saudi Arabia. So basically the agreement that stood for, I think, 50 years is about to expire. The petrodollar is about to expire. So it expires on, I think, this weekend. And basically, as of Monday, I believe the 10th, or Sunday as well, we're not going to be backed by the petrodollar anymore. The oil will not back the dollar anymore. And I believe that I think they're getting rid of U.S. bonds. Saudi Arabia also holds bonds and other things like that. So basically, the dollar is not going to be used for buying and selling oil. I think they're going to go to the yen. I'm not sure what's going to actually happen, but that's one little black swan that's happening. Now, again, geopolitical stuff. Let's look at Russia, Ukraine, Taiwan, China. All this stuff is happening. All this stuff is happening. We're going to have issues with our trade. That's what I believe is going to happen. We're going to have problems with trading. We're going to have shortages. So this geopolitical things are going to happen is that nobody's going to trust anyone. So Russia's not going to trust the U.S. Iran's not going to trust Israel, and so on. So I believe this is all created in order to bring in the new system, you could say. This system, again, will have a neutral point or a neutral bridge or a neutral currency or a neutral entity that will be trusted by all sides. And that's where I believe digital currency comes in, because it will solve all these issues. So I believe at first that we're going to have all these problems, wars, shortages, that people are going to say, "Oh, I need that cryptocurrency. What's the next solution?" Because fiat right now, if you're in the United States, listen, everywhere I go, they're like, "We don't take cash." Before it used to be like, "Oh, I don't take card." Now it's like, "Oh man, I don't take cash." I don't know how it's been for you guys, but it's for me. This is kind of happening. Now, what's your best bet against this kind of thing that's happening? Because here's another thing that's really important. It's very important to do your own research. So important. Don't rely on these influencers like, "Oh, I got a riddle for you. If Frog jumped over a bridge and kissed the prince," some bullshit. You have to know what's happening. Not You have to do your own research. That makes you a smart investor. Let me give you my example for myself. Myself, back in the day when I didn't know shit, and I would just follow the whole entire, the influencers, and they would say, "Oh man, you're gonna be so rich when 2000, ISO 222 is gonna go up." Everybody thought that was gonna go up. Everybody was like mortgaging their houses, selling their kids, selling their blood, their kidneys. I don't know. And they thought that once ISO 222 was gonna go live, that basically that we're gonna get rich. Yeah, people thought everybody was gonna get rich. I think it was 21 or 22. Everybody's like, "Oh, ISO," and then boom, ISO passed, and nobody got rich. If anything, certain assets went down in value. And that after that happened to me, I started thinking, I'm like, wait, these riddlers are all lying to me. XRP is not $10,000. All these assets are not these prices. So I realized that I had to do my own research and learn the tech, and realize that what brings all the money to the yard. It's regulatory clarity that's coming up with MICA June 30th, by the way. And then you got mass adoption, which is coming right now. The banks are mass adopting. And yeah, that's pretty much what I believe is going to be the crucial point for us to get to get generational wealth. Now, here's another, in regarding mass adoption, I'm going to talk about University Blockchain Research Initiative while I wait for, I'm going to talk about it for 2 minutes. What is that? UBRI. I don't know if you guys are aware of what UBRI is. I'll share the Ripple's website. On Ripple's website, Ripple is backing UBRI, which basically what they do is they have a bunch of universities that research about blockchain technology and all these new technologies. And on top of researching, they have a workforce, a damn workforce ready to go. So they have courses they teach blockchain and other, different things that literally once they graduate, they have their engineers, they have all these things. So what is UBRI? So I'm going to read from the website real quick. So it's championing blockchain research and development and academia. It's so here's another thing. How do you get everybody to adopt blockchain? You have to teach it in universities. You don't just teach it on Twitter or on YouTube. You don't watch videos like that. You have to go to courses in school, get diplomas. And that's one thing that's so important for mass adoption and for us to get rich is knowing what you're buying, knowing the technology. You're not just going to buy something because, oh, it's got pretty flowers on it or it's got some bullshit on it. You have to do your own research. And this is so crucial to us. So Ripple's University Blockchain Research Initiative, UBRI, supports a diverse portfolio of blockchain research, technical development, and innovation at university level. So and here's the thing, listen to this. It's 50 plus universities across 26 countries. Now, why do I keep talking about UBRI? Guess who created Evernode? UBRI. UBRI, the University of one of the University of Australia. They literally been working on Evernode since 2018, since UBRI was created, and they literally had the smartest minds and all the students work on this shit. They thought of all the issues that listen, that all the projects had, the problems with Bitcoin, the problem with Ethereum, and they try to fix it and create one super project. And I believe that's Evernote. That's why I'm actually talking about this. Now, think about it. This is 50 plus universities across 26 countries. This is not just, in Australia. This is all over the world. So what does UBRI do? It helps prepare the next generation, okay? The next generation of global fintech workforce, including engineers, entrepreneurs, and other global change makers, okay? This propels blockchain and crypto as a force of inclusive economic growth and positive social environmental impact for decades to come. Okay. And they teach over 600 plus courses and 1,500 blockchain research projects. So this is basically what the future holds. That um, basically, in order for us to get rich, everybody's got to know what the hell blockchain is. Everybody has to adapt it. And it's the same thing as everybody learning how to use credit cards at one time, using phones. It's innovation. It's new technology, and that's what UBRI brings. And that's why I'm so big on Evernote. Now, enough about UBRI. Now, I'm sorry. One last thing about UBRI. Scott Chamberlain, one of the CEOs, he's a professor of law. He teaches blockchain and law. So all of the law stuff is going to be on blockchain. Everything's going to be on blockchain. But enough about that. Let's start the space. Thanks for listening to my little spiel about UBRI. All right. So today's space, we're pretty much going to go over for why Evernote is such a hot commodity and why I believe that there's no other project better than Evernote. Now, again, this is my opinion, and you could think any way you want. And I'm going to go over everything I'm going to share. I'm going to give you guys websites that you guys could go to, listen. So the first website about Ripple and UBRI, I'm going to share in a little bit. So what I'm going to talk about now is actually about it's Evernode .fans. That's the website. And actually, what's going on with Evernote? Now, a lot of people don't comprehend Evernote. Okay. It's a very, very small supply. Now, if people read initially, oh, we got 72 million coins, blah, 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 72 million plus. Okay. This supply doesn't mean that we have 72 million plus in circulation. There's only about 31 million coins that are in circulation, and not even in circulation. Right now, there's about 31 million. And they have an epoch time where they release a certain amount of coins every epoch. And the only way you could get the coins is by running nodes, and you get the as rewards. Okay, so it has this entire system of kind of like a Bitcoin time, kind of like mining, but not specifically it. But regarding Evernote, so it, listen, pretty much, what's the main topics that everybody's talking about? Interoperability, interoperability, interoperability. What is the main problem that every single blockchain or whatever is trying to solve? Oh, we're trying to wrap our coins. We're going to wrap this. We're going to wrap that. That's pretty much the solution they come up to. Now, I believe Evernode can easily solve the problem of interoperability. When it communicates with every other blockchain, it can solve the problem of regulatory clarity, because through Evernote we could do compliance, we could do sanctions. I don't know if you guys know, but Russia is actually sanctioned on Evernote. We had over 500 different 500 different node operators, and they pretty much they're all from Russia, and they all got sanctioned. Now, another thing I'm going to tell you about that 31 million supply, 500 coins. So if you have 500 coins, you could run your own node. So, well, here's what happens. You give 500 coins. Again, you got to find somebody that knows how to do it. It's not that difficult, I heard. I'm not running my own nodes. I rent from somebody else. So 500 coins, you can create your own node. Okay. So what does the node do? You get rewards. Okay. You get daily passive income through nodes. That's how I make my node coins. So that's kind of what the whole node system is for if you have 500 coins. Now, here's another thing. All these coins, every single node. So I believe there's about 11,000 plus hosts, 11,500 or 600 right now. So every single host times it by 500. So you got so much supply of Evernote that's out of circulation. I'm not good with math, so I think it's maybe like 6, 7 million or something like that. 5, 6, 7 million Evers that's out of circulation. So that 31 million coins. Again, I'm just throwing a number out there that I believe it was. I'm not giving specific numbers, but 31 million coins, right? Out of all those 31 million coins, about 18 to 20% is locked up. 18 to 20% is out of circulation. So that makes it, instead of, what is it? Let's just give it an even number. Let's say it's 6 million coins out of circulation. So 31 million minus 6 is 25 million coins in circulation. So now we hear all these stories, fairy tales. I don't know if this is true, but we heard XRP, gold, XLM, silver, XDC, whatever, copper. So we believe that these assets will be backed by these precious metals, these commodities. The only thing that I know that's true, and you can try to prove me wrong, I believe Evernote is the only coin that's backed by a physical, well, I guess physical, a commodity. What is the commodity? It's computing power. Computing power. Now, can you do with Evernote? Not on top of just selling your coin, you can even if the price goes to zero, you have utility for the asset. It's not like, okay, the price is going down, so what am I going to do? Just sell. You can literally run a business. You can do anything you want with it. Now, AI is getting really big real soon, right? AI, and we got the Terminator taking over, Skynet, blah blah blah. Now, let me ask you a question. What would AI find more, not interesting, but what would it need to function? What would it need as something? It needs computing power. It doesn't need gold. It doesn't need silver. I understand quantum computers use golden for their things or whatever, but AI needs computing power. It needs that power, that juice, everything. It And in the future, we're going into a green new world. I don't know if you guys have read about the blockchains. So most of the blockchains have to have a certain amount of green in them, so they can't give out that much. They can't use that much power, electricity. Now, with Evernote, what do? They literally have computing power. The most valuable asset, in my opinion, commodity is computing power. I would rather have computing power over gold, silver, anything like that, because I believe that's more rare and that's more valuable for the future. So that's what kind of Evernote brings you with the whole entire, what's actually back in Evernote. And it's codes, but it's actually computing power. So if you ask me how it works, so everybody shares their computing power from what their PC or whatever VPS is they're renting. So let's say one computer has this much power, it shares it, and then another computer. Now, here's another thing I'm going to tell you. This is conspiracy talk, but I believe soon Bitcoin miners won't be able to mine. They're going to say, shit, mining's so expensive. Why? It's not green. And I think mining's going to be closed off. What are all these miners going to do? Where are they going to go? They have the rigs, they have the technology, they have so many things. What are they going to do? They're going to come to Evernode, because Evernode, you get rewarded if you have rigs that are rigs or computers that are, that can run so much things on them. And I believe that's what's going to come in the near future. Now, enough of me rambling. Let's get into the meat and bones. Okay. So I'm going to get into this website, and I have a node operator here for Evernode Shout out to all the node operators out there doing hard work. Um, and he's gonna kind of give his opinions on certain things with Evernode. And at the end we'll go through questions or whatever you guys want to talk. Or I mean, I don't work for Evernode. I'm just I'm a grassroots guy. Again, uh, if you guys ever need questions about Evernode, financial, like again, never financial advice, but we have an amazing chat group in Telegram. Okay, it's you'll get the smartest minds from XRP Ledger. All the people there, they know all these things from other blockchains. Top tier people that have been in the crypto industry since the beginning. I've learned so many things from all these smart minds. And I think that's what makes you a smart investor. Not just listening to, Joe Schmo or whatever. I don't want to talk shit, Crypto Hawk, whatever, reading his news articles. No shit talking. I think news articles are great, but they're hiding something in news articles. You have to, define what the news articles say. So, in my opinion, doing your own research is so clutch. But then on top of it, coming into a super chat like the Telegram chat and talking to smart ass people. I've learned so many things. That's key, in my opinion. Having a place to talk, and they'll tell you about different things that are happening. I don't want to get too into it, but we'll share the link for that as well. If you guys want to get in there, again, the Discord's great for the Evernote Discord is great for tech support. Like, hey, my nose down, and I know people that talk to Scott. That's another thing. Scott and Richard are the co-CEOs, and they've literally are always in the Discord helping you out with all the specific you know nuances. All right, enough of me talking about this stuff. Let's get into it. You have major echo, buddy.
I know. I was testing out the voice transformer. It's a new feature on X. Pretty interesting. So I've linked
So you
the.
could change your voice, and you could be a woman or a man, or
It's not a woman or a man. There's like echoes and deep voice and like bug voice, but I just saw that, so I was like, I'll just use that real quick for some humor.
that's awesome.
Um,
That's awesome. That's awesome.
yeah. So I have linked the new fan made website. Sorry, called Evernode.fans. In the comments below. And basically, it goes over every single tier of development that Evernode provides, starting with decentralized applications. Of course, running a decentralized application requires computing power, but one thing that Evernode, excels in is the that each node cluster is its own blockchain, and it has its own governance system. And that so basically a blockchain can run a hot pocket, and that hot pocket can host a DApp. And what that means is you have infinite scalability for that DApp, meaning you can allocate however many resources, whether it be 2 nodes, 3 nodes, 4 nodes. You can allocate whatever you need to run the application. Now it could be a DeFi app, it could be a business venture, it could be a website, it could be a game. All those things are allocations that you can explore with Evernote.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, I had a friend of mine that just we were having a little conversation, and people don't need to comprehend what Evernote is. Evernote is not something that scales transactions. It's the infrastructure for the whole entire. I believe the financial system. I believe that Ripple came out with Evernote right before regulations. Now, if you don't know what's about to happen, June 30th, okay, June 30th, we're about to have the first step of regulatory clarity with MICA regulations. All right, so they're going to be going over, I believe, stable coins and I think staking that they're going to create regulations for. This is so crucial for us to get rich because everybody's here for. I know some people like technology. I'm here to get rich. I'm here not to work, and I'm here to enjoy my life. Yeah, I'm not here to be a slave and work 9 to 5 nonstop. I don't believe in that. I believe that our minds can create us more money. And that's a belief.
Right. So totally. And ever holding ever, and this is not financial advice, but holding ever is a gateway to financial freedom. Just based on the utility you own, a basis of commodity, and that commodity is computing power, and everything is going on into data, and the blockchain is the most efficient way to hold data and converse data and do whatever you need to do with your data. So the next topic for scalability specifically is globally distributed computing power. So that is another tier of scalability. Basically, people all over the world can find nodes close to their home base and operate decentralized applications on servers in their own countries. And why that's important is regulations. Certain countries will have, certain regulation laws, and hosting a DApp in your own country could be very, very important. So that's another level of scalability that Evernode hosts provide.
Dude, did you know that computing power is a $500 billion business right now? You know,
Yes.
that's
So
insane.
NVIDIA is currently the second. Now, while Evernote does not use GPUs for its computing power, uses CPUs, NVIDIA is the second most valued company in the world, overtopping Apple themselves. So, computing power really is the future. Um, Evernote, I feel like it really expresses the use of your CPU a lot more than a GPU, which is a Bitcoin mining necessity.
You mean beta test coin, also known as Bitcoin? That's what I
Yeah,
call it.
yeah. And FYI, Bitcoin is 93% mined, meaning very, very around the corner, it's going to be 100% mined. Miners will have nothing to mine. So it looks like Shellfish would like to say something. So let's hear.
Hi guys. Thanks for having me up. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. I just wanted to throw in there that Sam Altman was just, I can actually quote him on this. He said that in the future, it is looking more like not a UBI, but a UBC. So Universal Basic Compute will be the more of the trade value. And I think that kind of goes along with what you're saying right now and is very important to point out.
Totally. So DeFi, it's a whole another basis of transacting. Evernode can talk to pretty much any other network, and if you code it to communicate with those networks, you can basically trade any coin for a separate coin on a without using a centralized exchange. So that's another tier that Evernode handles.
Interoperability, baby,
Yep.
interoperability. Now, think about it. I know some blockchains are good, like some layer ones are great, but how are they going to all talk to each other? How are regulators going to regulate all the blockchains? They're going to not go one by one. They're not going to go to this blockchain. I'm not going to go to XLM, and I'm not going to check everything. There needs to be one, like a spider web. And I think that everything's going to communicate through Evernode.
Correct. And that's where AI comes in because everything will be automated. And once the automated market maker is more established in the XRPO, those abilities will be much more, I guess, accessible to developers. And another tier of aspect is JavaScript. There's about 25 million JavaScript developers, and they all, are out of crypto currently because there's nowhere to code in a crypto setting. Um, on an EVM blockchain, yes, you can, use Solidity and figure it out, but it's super expensive. So it's inadequate for a developer, especially a developer working for a company who's looking at profits and returns and things of that nature. It's totally illogical to use an EVM platform.
Dude, do you know how expensive it is to build the infrastructure for? I mean, I used to talk to some developers. It's so expensive to build blockchain and all these things, but you have blockchain on demand. Like, eh, here's the thing: all these banks and institutions, they're going to use their own private blockchains, and they're going to connect it to the main chain. That's what I believe. A lot of companies are going to do it in their own private. They're going to want to build their own blockchain, and Evernode is that blockchain on demand. Like you have the tools on the XRP ledger to build whatever you want, and then you have this one major tool from Evernode that'll help you. You could size anything up, you whatever you want. That's Evernode. It's not just transactions. It's literally the infrastructure of the entire finternet.
Right. And regarding the Finternet, Evernote specifically being a DePIN network directly connects Web 2 to Web 3. And why that's so important is going back to JavaScript. Most of websites coded and even games use heavily JavaScript. So being able to use JavaScript in a financially acceptable manner on a crypto chain would basically mean Evernode is like that prime tier for integrating Web 2 with Web 3.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think it literally I think what they did for Evernote is they looked at all these issues that every single blockchain had. Because if you see the UBRI stuff, it's literally research papers about almost every single subject that we're kind of talking about. And on top of it, don't forget that this is not a conspiracy theory. This is fact that Evernote is Codius, but 2.0 version. My man Anders here has he has proved it, and we've had Scott Chamberlain talk about it, the CEO, that basically Codius was, they wasn't the way it was supposed to be, and they basically did an upgrade of Codius. So Codius is kind of Evernote 2.0.
Yeah, and uh, Codius itself was a prime factor for the future of Interledger Protocol. And Interledger Protocol is basically the exact future of finance. Everything's going to be regulated using CBDCs in the near future, and those are stable coins still. So we need a scalable environment to base like have a base for all those CBDCs to value off of because it all has to be on the blockchain.
Plus, it's like the best bookkeeping. Like, do you know how many people are going to be out of a job because of blockchain? Like, here's the thing: accountants say bye bye. We're going to have freaking AI do our taxes for us. Forget bye bye accountants. What underwriters and more? I guess homes, mortgages. Bye bye underwriters. We have all this. You're going to be saving so many damn fees. Forgive my French, but you're going to so many fees that you're going to be saving. Like, what's the whole point of blockchain for transactions? Okay, the transaction costs half a penny, and all these things is so quick. You're saving money for the banks. That's for transactions. Now you're saving money for now. Get rid of the middleman thing. Remember the whole middleman thing of Apple having lawsuits with many companies because they didn't want to give 20, 30, 15% of their revenue to Apple. Now that's going to be gone with decentralized apps through Evernote. And Evernote is literally going to save companies so much money. It's the cure. It's the cure for the disease.
It is. It's a cure for many things. And back to like some technical stuff. So recently, if there's any node operators in here, you may or may not have experienced the issue. But Evernode nodes were sending about hundreds of thousands to millions of WebSocket requests to the submission nodes, and that was tanking like entire networks of nodes. And it was an easy fix, but I just wanted to say that I ran a bunch of testing for Scott and Richard and Javeo, and we actually were able to get not only an early patch for our nodes, but a patch released for everybody else.
So you worked on the update with Scott and Richard. Oh, I'm sorry, I'll give them their names that I call them: Scotty Too Hottie and Big D.
Well, I wasn't there like with the team with the
No,
boys,
I
but
get it. But you were working with them and talking to them and helping them.
working with them, figuring out the problem, and yeah, so we got that fixed. Not sure if anybody experienced issues, but uh, yeah, I just want to say that Evernode, the team, is super good. They're super fast. They're super reliable. They communicate with their community, and big ups to Richard, JaVale, and Scott.
I mean, listen, you tell me what blockchain has their CEOs on the Discord helping out with tech support. Come on, you tell me you never see them. You'll have some middleman between them. But Evernote has this and here's another thing.
Or
Scott
they
and
just leave
Richard,
you in the dust. That
yeah,
happens a lot on EVM platforms.
yeah, they don't give you no support. Oh, go Google it. Go literally came in, helped you, and that's that's
Yeah.
Scott's a great person, by the way. Let me give you a little background with Scott. He's a lawyer. He's a blockchain enthusiast. This guy lives and breathes blockchain. And Richard, he's Big D. That's all I got to say about him. This guy's a genius. I call him Big D because he writes a lot of like when he writes a tweet, it's like long as hell. I don't know what you guys assume why I called him Big D. It's only because of his long tweets, not because of anything else. And then Scott is, Scotty Too Hottie. That's his name.
Heck yeah. You made the infinity blockchain. That's what it should be called because, there can be an infinite amount of blockchains theoretically.
Right. Right. And then don't forget Big D always has like amazing ideas and amazing use cases for Evernote. But let's get it back into the meat and
Right. I
the
did see
grind.
that Devon wanted to say something. So if you had any inputs, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask the question. You said you talked to Scott.
Right.
Is there any way that you can reach out to him to get API updated into CoinMarketCap so that we can get a accurate circulating supply? Because we do have 11,400 nodes that are up, but they're not being calculated for the circulating supply taken out.
I mean, I'm sure we could ask him this in the Discord, but yeah.
So regarding the circulating supply of Evernode hosts, technically that is removed from the circulating supply. While it still exists on the blockchain outside of the Evernode heartbeat hook, it is not available for like any exchanges to take advantage of. So putting that would be confusing for future listings to really base liquidity.
Wait, I'm not understanding, right? If you have it locked up, similar to what Ripple's escrow is, right?
Right.
It should be taken out of the circulating supply when you're calculating it on CoinMarketCap. That's what
Oh,
I.
so you're saying that the circulating supply of the removed Evers because of node operators still shows up in CoinMarketCap?
Yes, it's still saying 25 million
Okay.
self-reported.
Yeah, I
Which,
should tell
if
him
it's
that.
11,400 nodes, there are 5.7 million taken out of
Correct.
circulation that's not being accounted for.
So
Okay,
even
yeah,
less
good input.
supply, it's even less coins. Holy
Yeah.
shit!
So
The thing is, in order for CoinMarketCap to do that, there has to be an API integrated. So that's why
okay. So
I've been trying to tag Scott into seeing, because I know Scott probably has a lot going on, but you need probably either an API, Oracle. I know Flare has tried to come out with a use case that can be easily integrated that would help get that circulating supply more up to date, more accurate.
yeah, they definitely need to work on the API because that, for DeFi purposes that could be very, 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 very important. So good input.
Or I'm sorry. Or there's gonna be a new
Uh
service that they
we cannot hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Hello?
You guys can't hear me?
There, we can hear
We
you
can hear
now.
you. We can hear you now.
Oh, I
Yeah.
apologize. It's my Mickey Mouse Wi-Fi. Um, so I'm just thinking that with the new regulations, MICA is the first step. MICA is the first step of regulations. There's going to be multiple steps. There's going to be regulations for different things. What if they think of a new way to calculate digital currency? Not by circulating supply. What if they calculate, what's backing it, what it's worth in the market? Because I've read regulations where it's stated that regulations are going to be given by governments, but governments are going to basically value different assets differently. So it's not going to be the markets; it's going to be governments and other means to figure out a price for a certain asset. It's not just going to be like, okay, the circulating supply and just the basic way. They're going to, because these assets are completely different, and there's going to be a 3-tier list. There's going to be tier one assets that are backed by commodities and fiats and things like that. So there's going to be a different way we measure the value of these assets. So that's where I believe these
You're actually
incredible huge
correct.
numbers are going to come.
There's going to be a subsystem called hosting tokens released, when enterprise get involved, and those tokens will be valued completely different compared to the actual Ever token. So that is true. I see Shellfish would like to speak.
Yeah. So it wouldn't take much for an AI to be overlooking it and determine whether the token is deemed a currency, a real world asset. It would be instantly being able to figure these things out. So absolutely, it would be more in its own category, its own utility category. So I can see that all coming into play forever.
Yeah. So basically, Evernode has like 5 or 6 main tiers of the future that it plans to make infinitely scalable, which is like, for example, AI, DeFi, gaming slash metaverse. What's the word?
Well,
Ecosystems.
think of it this way. You have, I think it's 7 to 10 instances that you can hook onto each contract. Am I correct with that? I
Yeah, so
think that's what it
the
was.
max is 10 instances, or maybe
So
9.
so so if you had a separate AI connected to each one of those, say a legal AI, an accountant AI, et cetera, went going down, and each one going through and checking its own consensus protocol, determining whether or not it was a commodity,
Yeah,
a real world asset going through down the line, it would instantly be able to flip a switch and put it in the right category and put it on the ledger that way. Am I
that's
correct in
that's
this
completely
understanding?
that's completely correct. In a clustered host setting, that would be completely possible, and that is what's going to happen. Um, I'm not exactly sure which companies will establish that protocol, but that is a huge part of what Evernode does, and probably the biggest of them all. Is
You know, I would even venture to say, with so many people in Discord making their own bots now, that would be something to look at.
Yeah, so possibly running like it could be similar code to how Discord bots work and operate. Those developers who make those bots could possibly come to Evernode and establish their own bot systems, and if they can do that within a company basis, they could have a company buy their networks, and yeah, basically the growth is infinite. So 100% I agree.
Dude, speaking of growth, do you know that again there are developers that are building on Evernode? So I've seen so far that they built an Uber type of service. That was in the, I believe it was in the Gold Coast uh, hackathon. I think I don't remember what it was.
Codathon.
Yeah, Codathon. So they had that. That could be one thing for Evernote, and then another thing that I think somebody in the Telegram chat was showing. They built a like a ARMB, B&B type of like vacation. You can rent. You
It's
can get vacations
it's
there.
it's a little.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can't. It was like muffled. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I apologize. So basically, I was saying is that there's a lot of stuff being built right now on basically Evernode that I've seen some developers build like a vacation type of a decentralized vacation type of thing that the middleman that you don't have to pay the extra fees to those companies. I've seen basically I've seen oh my god, the ride, what's it called? They've had rides, oh my god, Uber, yeah, they had the Uber. So a lot of things there that are right now that are on centralized, like all these companies are giving a piece of their pie to the middleman, kind of like paying their taxes. Again, we want to not pay their taxes. We don't want to pay that extra money for for them to for us to use their services, and that's where Evernote comes in for everything.
Right. And mind you, the ex-CEO of Uber is a Ripple partner. So if you take that into account. I see Niles would like to speak. And I can also see what Karma C has to say.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Hi. Yeah, great discussion so far. Thanks for having me up. I just wanted to echo a couple of technical updates. One is that we got a new tutorial on the Evernode documentation that covers deploying custom Docker images on an Evernode instance. And we can write a file from a smart contract to onto a location that's not subject to consensus. Scott also provided us with some updates coming on June 17th that we will get a mechanism for a single account to fund the reputation contracts on multiple hosts. We'll also get an optional feature that will automatically recycle ever payments for the reputation contract. We're going to get supports for contract to have access to 2 TCP and 2 UDP ports, which will help to make Evernode dApps more flexible and then powerful. And finally, they just squashed some bugs for the edge cases where the leased NFTs weren't being burned for the transmission of hosts.
Perfect. Yeah. That is a those new ports opening up are a huge development for dApp applications and pretty much anything made on the network. And the more documentation they release, the easier it is for people to figure out how to operate on the network. So I'm really, really glad that they are continuously updating those things and making it open to not only like whatever established developers they already have, but new developers coming from other ecosystems or other parts of the entire world.
Or coming from UBRI, all those universities.
Yeah. Okay. So Devon would like to say something.
Yeah, so we know that Evernote couldn't be built on the XRPL because they didn't have the hooks amendment passed. But now that the which amendment is that that's getting ready to be passed? Well, it's the cross-chain interoperability amendment that's getting ready to be passed on the XRPL.
Yeah.
Once that goes live, could you then have Evernote be live on the XRPL and still have the hunks functionality so that the apps can be built on Evernote from the XRPL?
So in terms of Evernote being like on the XRPL, I don't think that will happen, but communicating with the XRPL through hooks will completely be possible. And that's a huge development because if XRP and Evernote can talk to each other, that can make D5 because an interledger protocol completely open. And XRP is a more of a bridge chain currency rather than the newly established Evernode coins and the Zahao network. So the communication between the two networks is key for those developments. So yes. I'm curious what Karma coverage would have to say. And also I misphrased earlier. Ripple, a former Uber executive, a chief business officer, was appointed to the Ripple team, not the CEO. So that was my fault.
What's up, Karma? I hope you got some good karma for me.
I I don't have much to say. I'm listening at the moment, so I appreciate what you guys are talking about.
All right.
Okay. Would any of the speakers like to talk about a specific topic that I can possibly expand on? Anything you're curious about, or anything you're passionate about?
I have one question. Recently, I think it was about a week ago, Scott had mentioned in the Discord some areas of focus. One was to get through the enhancements with the reputation D, the Docker flexibility, and the ports. And then two, he mentioned to put hooks into autopilot mode and then to attract developers. But I'm curious if you had any more insights or information on what it exactly means to put hooks into autopilot mode.
So putting a hook into autopilot mode would basically mean you can code it to hold certain governance without you having, because a lot of the Evernode application process right now is manual. So turning it into autopilot would basically open the gateway for AI to basically do what it does without you being there to monitor it all. And for example, um, keeping up contracts with clients. The hook can reinstate contracts without you reinstating the contract yourself, and basically that can keep the hot pockets monitored correctly.
What about wouldn't AI be able to do the rewards and stuff for whoever is renting the nodes for node operators? Would that be it as well?
I'm so sorry. What was that?
So basically, the rewards, wouldn't you be able to use that type of thing for not manually distribute rewards, and you can use the AI to distribute rewards to node operators as well? I mean, whoever's renting the node. I mean,
So yeah, you can for the hooks you can establish all of the, I guess, paid hours from clients onto your instances to go to a single account with a hook autopilot. It's just a matter of it being integrated into dApps that could be more exercised, because you can technically run your own system of having that done.
I did have something that was brought to my attention today that I wanted to talk about. I'm not sure if it was Scott or if it was somebody else, but they have 2 million evers. So I wanted to talk about the distribution. How was it distributed? What is the team going to be doing with whatever evers that they let put aside? Are they going to use it towards development? Have they put out the distribution wallet that they have? I'd like to know more about
here's the
that.
thing. Here, hold on. Let me answer this one real quick. So we are not we don't work for Evernode. We're just grassroots community members that love the project. Where we hang out in the Telegram, and we don't really, we can't speak for what they plan to do, but I mean, we can. I mean, Forever Node might be able to answer some things what they say they're going to be doing, but again, we don't want to talk for them. We don't want to make any promises because I don't. I'm again. I'm not. I'm just an investor, and I'm an enthusiast, and I love the technology, and I love to talk to people. So, in that regard,
Right.
I'm just going to give you that. But if Forever Node X, if he could explain what they kind of want and their distribution in that sense, but I think their distribution, from my personal opinion, is ideal because they're not top heavy and like a lot of other. I don't want to talk about bad things about other blockchains, but other blockchains have very uneven distribution, very uneven. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I do have a little bit of knowledge on this. In the beginning, beta testers and uh, prime developers were given a distribution epoch themselves, and that was the same distribution epochs that are distributed to node operators currently. So about 5 million evers were distributed between the early developers, which is Richard, Scott, JaVale, and I think that might be it. So that is why they.
I think it was Richard. I think it was Richard that they said has 2 million efforts that was given to him.
Right. And the only case that I see them holding that many evers is giving a secure, I guess, audit for providing liquidity. if they know they held a certain amount of Evers, then they can provide liquidity to any new exchanges that they list on. So that's very important, because if the liquidity is completely up to the investor, that's unstable. So it's a smart play. In terms of them dumping,
So,
I
so
don't
if,
see
if
that happening.
if Richard has 2 million, I'm not saying that they're going to dump, nor am I speculating. I just would like to know where the funds goes,
Right.
because for him having 2 million and only 25 million are in circulating, that's almost 10% of the supply, right?
Right.
So I don't know how much Scotty had or anybody else, but him having 10% of the supply by himself, I just would like to know
Mm.
what his personal plans was, and is his wallet public?
So yeah, we're definitely not aware of his personal plans, but all I know is that they are for sure focusing on the future of the network, and liquidity is a big part of that, and also providing Ever specifically for contractors, making purchases of Ever coins through specified contracts, and that would be important for working with businesses and more professional environments, rather than an investor buying a bunch of coins on an exchange.
Did he get direct? Was it delegated to the Ledger Foundation, right, or Ripple Labs?
What was that? Sorry, it broke up a little bit.
You said it's okay. You said like people that had was it directly wallets, or was it more like Lab or the foundation?
So yes,
I'm
so
curious about that.
Richard is the co-founder of Evernode. He also is one of the main coders for the entire XRP ledger. He hand
Yes,
coded
yes.
Zahao network. So that, I guess that's where his part comes in, and as well as helping a lot with the coding of Evernote. Scott Chamberlain actually does not have any technical ability when it comes to coding. So most of that was put on Richard and JaVale. So that's why they have.
But so the way that Zahab works is
It, it's breaking up a bit.
can you hear me?
You have really bad
Hold on.
service. It's hard to hear you.
Shit always happens when I'm at a house. Anyway, let's see if it'll stay on. The mic is okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So with the Zahao governance table, you have one person that can represent the entity.
Right.
So I was wondering if Richard represented XRP Labs, or
So
like the foundation,
yeah,
or if it was just his own personal wallet.
he represents XRP Labs. He works directly with XRP. He's pretty important for the entire like technical, like he's basically a genius when it comes to coding and ledger capability.
Yeah. No, I'm aware of who Richard and Scott are.
Okay.
I was just wanting to make sure we clarified, was it his own personal wallet, or was it a wallet that
So his
represented
wallet.
the entity?
So regarding that, I'm not 100% sure, but given that there was an epoch distributed to early developers, and he's a developer, I'm guessing it is his own personal wallet. But saying that wouldn't necessarily mean that he doesn't plan to use it for XRP Labs purposes instead of like personal use cases. So I think he would most likely keep it distinct. I see EZ would like to say something, so you can go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for putting together this space. It'd be really great to hear from Evernode team themselves, given that's the middle of the night right now in Colombo and in Australia. Maybe it'd be better to time these spaces, so that they'd have the opportunity to speak. and maybe dispel some of the myths that might come out of these spaces that that we're holding right now. But given that, I'm also very excited about the project, especially with these new TCP and UDP ports being available to developers. I mean, it's opening up new use cases. I'm especially interested in IoT networks, and so having the ability to run the contracts and the applications in parallel, that's really interesting, especially when you can have real-time communications with industrial sensors or something along those lines. It's yeah, future infrastructure. That's all I have to say.
Oh yeah, it's very very exciting for a lot of different reasons, and I really want to put together like their plans in aspect, because you could take what a depend network is, and there's a list of things that a depend has over a non-depend network, and it goes anywhere from 6G networks to removing the space between Web 2, Web 3, and those two things alone are completely focused on the future. So Evernode really is the future of blockchain in all ways.
Absolutely, absolutely. I had somebody just message me privately. They didn't want to come up and talk. They actually were asking me price predictions. I know that's a little crazy with price predictions, but they were asking like, why is Evernote so cheap if it's so, it's so important? The one thing that people don't understand that Evernote is you can't buy it in the United States or North America. You can't buy it from Canada. I mean, you can go through the through the decks, but you're going to pay a shit ton for slippage. So people don't want to pay for that. So right now, there's over about 3 or whatever million Evers on Uphold. And all those people holding Evers, they're XRP holders. And they cannot wait to get into Evernode. They cannot wait. So before, Evernode was around 50 or 60 cents when we had North America and, the buy support from the United States. So right now, I believe, again, never financial advice, it's prime time to buy Evernode. I was buying Evernote at 60 cents, whatever top tier price I was paying for it. So my opinion, my personal opinion, never financial advice, that once Uphold gets listed, now the way with Evernote, just so you guys know, every about 1,000 coins or maybe at 1,500, the price goes up by half a penny or something like that. So you can literally, for like a couple thousand coins, you could pick up the coin a couple pennies easily. Now, once it gets listed on Uphold, I personally think it's going to be it's nowhere this price you will never ever see, just because of supply, demand, utility. And once people figure out, once all those XRP holders, now here's the thing, all the people that were holding on Uphold, everybody that's holding XRP, they got an airdrop. So there's so many people from the XRP army that's holding Evernode. And once they figure out, because again, I keep talking about education. That's why I brought UBRI up in the beginning, because education is key. Doing your own research, not listen. Investing in meme coins might be the cool thing now. You might make a couple dollars, but you want to invest in a real world asset that's got huge potential. And from my opinion, that's Evernode. And I don't want to think what price it could be, but again, with the supply utility, I believe this is one of those assets that can go to these Bitcoin numbers. It could go to 10,000 plus, because again, I've seen it, just a little bit of money put into it, bam, blows up. Now imagine this coin is created for enterprises. It's not meant for and developers, enterprises and developers. It's not meant for retail. Now imagine when retail figures this out right before regulations. I don't know what's going to happen with Evernode before regulations, but after regulations, I'm sure the enterprises are going to want to jump into this baby. But hopefully this answers your question regarding the price of Evernode. Now, if you throw $1 billion into Evernode now, I think it could probably be around $40, $50 if you put $1 billion into the market cap. Now, I believe that Evernode will be priced differently just because of the real world asset, utility, and again, the computing power that's behind Evernode. But again, hopefully this answers your question. And I don't want to get too much into it, but again, the sky's the limit. Never financial advice.
Seven Rays. I have a question regarding the JavaScript implementation that Wheatsy had proposed in bringing the JavaScripter coders in. I think they said that the system is not going to be implemented with ILP until the JavaScript gets adopted. Is that
Okay.
what you understood
Well,
as well?
all you're saying to me is all I hear is blah 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 blah. I don't understand. I'm not a programmer, so when you say, I mean, I kind of get some stuff. I'm just being honest with you. I'm just a very enthusiastic investor that's very excited about technology. So my man Forever Node X, he's the expert in this sense. So excellent question. But yeah, Forever Node X is going to help you with that. Thank you again.
So yes, Interledger Protocol is still in its early phases. JavaScript, Richard said that it's going to be enabled in first half of 2025. So they are planning to release them simultaneously, in my opinion, to, I guess, attract developers at the same time while releasing Interledger Protocol so that they can, fully understand what they're getting into and make applications that fully support the Interledger Protocol.
Do you think this can be leapfrogged with the way that the technology is just growing at such an exponential growth rate with code interpreter, etc.?
Sorry, by leapfrog, what do you?
Well, I mean, do you think 6 months is an accurate prediction as far as implementing the JavaScript that Wheatsy wants into the system, or do you think it could be brought on sooner?
It could be brought on tomorrow. Technically, I guess they just want more of an established infrastructure before that happens because when you open the door to 25 million people, it could get pretty crazy. So I guess they're just taking careful steps to make sure everything goes smoothly, which I've seen is a trend of Evernote. They take very careful steps in everything they do. So that's a good thing for a lot of different criterias.
Makes sense. Thank you,
Yep.
Forever.
I saw that. Did someone raise their hand? I'm not sure.
Oh, I just had a message from somebody. They asked the question as well. They DM me. How much Evernode is a good amount? Like here's the thing with XRP. Like the supply is 100 billion. I mean, a little less because of burning and stuff. So you could use your imagination with Evernode with circulating supply about 31 million and 72 million total with not a burn mechanism but almost like a burn mechanism of coins being locked up. You do your math. So 1,000 Evers could be, as in my opinion, math wise, could be as much as maybe 100,000 XRP. Like scaling wise, like the same numbers. So 1,000 Evers is a huge amount. Some people are like, they don't realize that there's so limited supply that 1,000 coins you can run 2 nodes. You have tons of computing power. Now, for Evernode X, what was the data you told me about how much one Evernode can, how much time can one Evernode do for instance, or how many hours?
So at I forgot what the exact calculation I did was, but basically at the price point of $1,000 for Evernode, you can rent a multiple instances for like hundreds of thousands of hours. And so why that's important is they need to make this, not only like, business friendly, which means that it's profitable and not only just profitable, but consistently accurate for I guess trace keeping. And so they need to have the price high for an Ever to go as far as it can when leasing an instance because clearly with the epoch they're looking at this long term. So It's very, very necessary that even a single Ever can be distributed, like, for years upon years, to run networks, because they need the instances to be consistently active and operable. And so if the price was, say, $1, that would be impossible for businesses to consistently keep up with, because they would have to consistently reinstate their accounts full of Evers, when they could just put a set amount of Evers and have that running for whatever allotted amount of time they need. So price point is necessarily high. It needs to be high for it to be efficient and business friendly.
So this is a jam. This is a gem. Does anybody else have any questions or want to say anything before we close up the space? I'm actually very curious. Again, I'm going to do another space in about 2 weeks. I'm very curious to see what happens with the petrodollar right before MICA regulations. There's a lot happening this month. June 14th, there's a bunch of other sanctions they're about to go through. A lot is about to happen this month. So I hear earthquakes, natural disasters, bird flus, lockdowns, all these things to push in the new world order. Sorry. Go ahead.
Right, and I guess having having everything on a blockchain would help a lot with I guess keeping everything in order. So I mean, in broad terms, Evernode is for sure a prime gatekeeper for the future of not only peace, but keeping everybody in a consistently operable state. Like, it's it basically, Evernode itself opens the doors to the future, in my opinion, because money, and same thing with XRP. Money it's a huge problem in today's economy, and things need to be efficient and uh consistently being efficient. So yeah, totally.
You know, they called XRP the bridge currency. Yeah, so XRP is the bridge currency, but Evernote is actually that bridge that everybody gets on, because XRP, it's universal for everything, but Evernote it's a universal for all the blockchains. So all the blockchains will communicate through Evernote. All the regulations will go through Evernote, in my humble opinion, because MICA, the governing body of MICA is Ripple. So I believe Evernode will be a crucial point for regulations. That's my opinion, and let's see if it's true in the next couple of years.
Given its ties to Codius and Interledger Protocol, those things are the future of finance. So with infinite finances, you have infinite possibilities, and Evernote seems to have a uh, a basis of long-term infinite possibility, and so yeah, it's a huge development in the blockchain, and not only the blockchain but in the entire world. And it being a commodity-based asset is also a huge role um, in that scenario. So totally agree. It's a huge, huge, huge development, and
Awesome.
when people start to come across it, the growth is not going to stop, because all the facts are there. You just have to do your research.
Forever, I've heard from a few people that Ethereum is kind of like outdated and kind of a broke technology. Don't know if that's true or not. How
100%.
easy would it be for them to how easy would it be for them to shift over onto the Evernode system for smart
Super
contracts?
easy, because you can, if they want to get familiar with it, you can code with Solidity on Evernode, and they can communicate with their own, dApps and stuff. And once JavaScript is released, JavaScript is an easy code to learn. So if anything, Solidity might evolve into something new.
Could they utilize the teleportation option that I think, was it Weetzy that developed that, or on the Zalman wallet? Is that something that can be implemented to just pick up and shift over to the other network?
Right. So yes, that's a big role for DeFi. That teleportation. While right now it's only available from ZAO to XRP, that process can be, with the hooks, can be programmed to different liquidity pools, and yeah, so that's definitely a possibility in the near future for if people wanted to transfer, say 500 Ethereum to Evernode or to XRP or to ZAO, that would have to be done through Evernote if DeFi's ran through the instances.
What if they utilized Evernode as some type of hook, just in case, as a failsafe, if and when the Ethereum network was to break?
So if the Ethereum network broke, if the value of your coins is on a ledger, and if they make a fix for that on DeFi, then yeah, you could transfer your tokens over to through the bridge, but that's still a little bit further in the future. For interledger protocol reasons, it's going to take more development for that to be possible. But I think that is the future goal. It's Ethereum is a broken network. It's very expensive, and its future is questionable.
All right. If you actually look into some documentation from, I read from XDC Corda, back in their old papers before they updated, I think 2021 or something like that, they were actually saying that all these blockchains like beta test coin, Bitcoin and Ethereum were all garbage. I got to find that document. So Corda themselves thought they were garbage. There's some documentation regarding that. So, these coins are just going to kind of show Bitcoin, Ethereum. They're kind of like just they're documentation coins. They're going to be the coins that are going to be used. They're going to be examples of what they don't want to use in the future. No company wants to wait 15 minutes, 20 minutes for a transaction when you're doing a transaction. Nobody wants to pay extra fees for, I'm going to buy some milk for $10, but then I'll pay $10 in fees. That's insane. And that's not going to work for the future.
Right. And when they're transferring like millions, billions of dollars, it's, if they want to take advantage of instant cross-border transactions, that's a main key point for the XRP. So in that regard, Ethereum, Evernode is a direct competitor to Ethereum and Bitcoin.
And I think it's a store of value as well. Evernode is a store of value, and Ethereum smart contracts. It's a combination of both and more. And with that, we're going to finish up. But here's another thing. If you want to talk to some smart-ass people, not me, I'm not that smart, but we got some smart-ass XRPL vets. We have vets from everywhere. Come join us, at the Telegram chat. I put in the link down there. We got Mr. Wonka. We got top-tier people, Average John, everybody in there that, can help. And again, never financial advice, but we like to help our friends. But with that, anything you want to say, Mr. Evernode, or anybody else before we leave?
Well, I guess personally, I'm hodling my Evers, so I would advise everybody here to do what you will with that information.
All those node operators and node runners, they're selling their Evers cheap. Keep selling it to me for cheap. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I appreciate 23-cent Evernode. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Right. So, okay, before we end, I do see Karma C would like to say something, and I'm open to hearing.
Yeah, I'm just curious because I still have to claim my Evers, and I forget what the process was. I got distracted with some things in life, and I never did that.
I'm gonna help you out with that. We don't really know. I've never claimed any Evers. We got any airdrops. If you want to do that, you want to contact Evernode or whatever place you got the airdrop in. Yeah. So Yeah, this
Hold?
no.
Did,
Listen. It's not on uphold, but what I'm saying is, you
okay.
want to contact them. We don't really know how to
Yeah.
do this tech support or anything like that, and we're not sure how to get the airdrop. But you should contact Discord or whatever place that you did your airdrop on.
Yeah, I'd
In order
advise
to collect
joining
the
the
airdrop,
Discord.
you have to. In order to collect the airdrop, if you had your XRP on the Zaman wallet, you have to go to collect.evernode.org and then sign in with your Zum wallet, and then you can poke the hook to claim your Ever.
Bro, you just
Yeah.
made that so easy.
As long as you registered in December. I
Yeah,
don't know
all done.
if you did.
But there's no like time limit on it, I would assume.
As long as you did the register in December, it should be still available.
Yeah, I did all that.
Okay, then yeah, you just go to collect. That's how I did it too.
Okay.
Collect.evernode.org.
Well, wonderful conversation. Appreciate you guys.
Yep.
Thanks for having a conversation with us. We'll see you guys next space. It's going to be even more interesting with all the world events. Let's go. Let's grow. Evernode. Let's go.
Evernodians. All right.